Howdy, folks. I'm the razor-sharp rock lobster, Laura.
I'm Amber.
And here's some more rock lobsters. They have a band. It's called The Bottom. Alright, folks, our first letter is titled, Am I the Jerk for Asking My Girlfriend to Give Up Her Home Office for a Pregnant Friend? I'm a 34-year-old male friend, Shanella, a 25-year-old female, is pregnant. She only found out recently. Unfortunately, she found herself being evicted due to rent arrears and has nowhere else to go. And the local council won't help her because they claim it's her fault because she refused to pay the landlord. I moved in with my girlfriend a month ago. Evelyn, my girlfriend, is a 31-year-old female and she owns her own flat. It's got a bedroom, a sitting room, and her office. I work physically, so I don't need a home office, but she's a translator. She translates books and works mostly from home. When I found out that Chanel needed a place to stay, I asked Evelyn, but she refused, claiming that she needed her office. I gave her a few days, hoping that she would understand the difficult position that Chanel is at, but she wouldn't even budge. So I approached her again, telling her that she could work from our bedroom or anywhere really, but it's cruel to leave a pregnant young woman all alone. She still refused, told me that she's only met Chanel once and Chanel was rude to her. I told her that it's the hormones and that she shouldn't take it personally. She told me that I was out of my mind if I thought that she would give up her home office for someone who wouldn't even pay rent. I said that she couldn't expect a homeless person to pay her rent, and she didn't ask me, so why would she ask my friend? She wasn't happy about that. She told me that her answer was final and not to bother her anymore about that. I said I lived here too, and that she must take my opinion into consideration. She replied, that can be changed. I told her that she was the jerk for saying that, but she replied that I was the jerk for even suggesting something so outrageous. She locked herself in her office to work. I am furious with her. She is so out of line. I'm about to go out with some friends as it's Friday, and I vented to one of them, and he told me that I was the jerk. I thought that I was right, but my mate agreeing with her took me by surprise, and I wonder, was I the jerk? Edit, perhaps I didn't explain properly. Chanel is a vulnerable young woman in need of help that Evelyn could easily provide. Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk. It's one thing to ask your partner if they can help someone out, but you have to be able to accept when they say no. Your partner is under no obligation to home a person who has been rude to her for free for some indefinite period of time just because she's in an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, I certainly feel bad for Chanel. This is a difficult situation for sure. This isn't your girlfriend's responsibility, and I can certainly understand her not wanting her office taken up because this is going to impact her productivity. And in order for her to continue keeping her home, she needs to be able to pay her mortgage, she needs to be able to pay her utilities, and losing her office is going to impact her ability to do that. And certainly, while I understand your perspective here, OP, you want to take care of a friend, I think that's really nice, and I think that's a loyal thing to do. But your girlfriend has said that she can't do this and it's outside of her abilities. So you have to really respect that.
Right. And you can't just expect everyone to give up their comfort and financial resources when there's a crisis on your end. Well, and his logic here too is so faulty. I don't pay rent, so you should let her move in without paying rent. Does she owe it to every person in the world to let them move into her place because she doesn't charge you rent? It's just such faulty logic.
Well, and, I feel that the whole, well, it's my place too, I should have a say in X, Y, and Z, really applies more to, art that's hanging on walls, or, this is my little display case I have here. I would like to display my stuff.
Right. Well, people is a 2 yeses, 1 no situation, I feel like. Moving an extra person in, you need everyone to be on board.
Mm-hmm.
and she's not on board, and you would be asking her to give up her space because Opie's like, well, I don't work from home, so like, it's not a big deal.
It doesn't impact me.
You're asking her to give up her space to use her funds because it sounds like, she's the one who's paying a lot of the bills here. You're not paying rent. I don't know what you're paying. It's an undue burden onto her. You're trying to push onto her.
Yeah. Well, and if OP is so concerned, he can also help his friend with monetary contributions, right? OP's working. He can surely be able to help her out some other way. And I mean, maybe that's going to put you in a bad position, but it's certainly going to hopefully alleviate your conscience. And you can also help her by helping her find another place to live. You can help her maybe by giving her a deposit on her next place to live if she's having such a hard time.
Yeah.
And
well, my guess is OP doesn't want to use his financial resources because it sounds like his girlfriend probably makes a lot more than him, so he just wants her to use her resources.
yeah.
But again, you're not entitled to her money,
Yeah.
Is anyone else wondering if there's a chance that OP is the father of the friend's baby?
I didn't really want to float that that question here.
Okay.
No. I mean, like, that's the thing is, like, it crossed my mind. It's wild speculation because we certainly don't have any evidence or proof, but it does make you wonder why he's so invested in taking care of this one individual. He sounds like he's sincerely concerned about her, and let's hope it is just a sincere concern.
We can hope, but I just, a 9 years younger woman that he wants to take care of, it just kind of puts up my spidey senses are tingling a little bit.
Well, I mean, he might be trying to get closer to her. Like, maybe this is a ploy or maneuver to kind of endear her to him, and then basically they can run away together or whatever he wants, right? Or he can have her on the side while while his girlfriend pays for everything. But I just am sincerely hoping that there isn't any nefarious other background things going on here, and that I really just want to believe for a moment that OP is actually just a kind and sincere person who's very misguided. That's my hope.
Yeah, I mean, you can just ignore my rampant speculations. I've just read so much Reddit that, like, that's where my mind is going.
So, yeah, I mean, certainly the thought had crossed my mind, but I hate to speculate on that. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And LD000 says, you're the jerk. Your girlfriend and friends were right. But if you need a Reddit to confirm that, just stick around. But as suggested, you could get your friend a place and pay rent, or maybe you two could move in together. You may need a new place to stay pretty soon. Judging from OP's girlfriend's reaction, that might not actually be untrue.
Mm-hmm.
And OP replies, why pay rent when she could live here for free and save up? It makes no sense when we have all of this space.
So right here, it's clear that he doesn't want to invest his own resources in her. He just wants to use his girlfriend's money.
Yeah. And WIBTA says, you're the jerk. It's her flat. Your girlfriend needs to work from home, and she doesn't know your friend. She doesn't have to say yes. And OP replies, she can work from the bedroom, sitting room, kitchen, cafe, literally any place. I love her, but she's spoiled if she thinks that she needs an office. She can move her laptop anywhere that she wants. She doesn't need a whole room when my friend is desperate. And a random walk in space says, it's her place too, not yours. What part of that aren't you understanding? And OP replies, I live there too now, so it's mine as well. Should I just act like a guest and have no say? I think we kind of hashed that a little bit.
Yeah, well, also, though, I'm guessing it doesn't sound like OP's on the lease, like if she owns this place outright, so legally he's not entitled to the place either.
Well, yeah, if he's not on the mortgage, if he's not helping to contribute to that mortgage, then this isn't technically an ownership question, as more of he's a tenant living there, and, the tenancy between partners is always a little bit of a tricky question in that respect. And I don't think doesn't seem like she's holding tenancy over his head.
Exactly. It sounds like she's been perfectly reasonable up to this point, but he wants to make these demands that, again, this is a 2 yeses, 1 no situation.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks, our next letter on this Saturday morning is titled, Am I a jerk, or will I be the jerk for spraying some kid with my garden hose daily after he walks all over my lawn? I am a 37-year-old male, and I live with my wife, who's also a 37-year-old female. And we have a son and a daughter, 9 and 11 respectively. Recently, there has been this kid who comes by our house after playing soccer, and he either rides his bike or walks over the lawn with his cleats on his way home. It started out as me giving him a stern look whenever I saw him, and then slowly progressed to me asking him to just go around. The last time I asked him to stop, he made a point to stop extra hard and twist his feet into the grass, which made me mad. Since then, I've just been hosing him. The first time I sprayed him off with the hose, he ran off. But then, for some reason, he just started standing there while I hose him off, like he enjoys it. It's now progressed to me sitting in my lawn chair, pointing my hose at him, and he's just staring at me while he does so. Sometimes we even make some small talk. I'm not gonna lie, it started off as a really bitter relationship, but I've actually gotten to know him quite well. We talk maybe for 15 to 20 minutes every day. And he also doesn't seem to mind being hosed down after sweating hard and playing soccer. He comes by daily, and we just sit there and talk while I hose him off, and he stands there for a bit. Wife told me that I need to stop. Even after I explained to her, she said that I'm making us look like childish idiots. I guess I could stop, but honestly, it's really funny waiting for him to come by, and I see no harm. Will I be the jerk? Alright, folks, what do you think of this very, very bizarre letter?
I think at this point in time, no jerks here. Like, it was kind of a jerk move initially for the kid to, intentionally damage a lawn, but it sounds like everyone's having a good time, and that's what matters.
This is a little bit of a difficult situation. I think that they were both acting like jerks originally. I think now maybe they've come to some kind of amicable friendship, almost tenuous friendship.
It just seems like the kid is potentially starved for attention, and so he's happy to have some kind of attention.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe this is one of those situations where you can maybe not hose him off unless he wants to be hosed off. Like, it sounds like after he's been playing soccer, maybe he actually just appreciates a cold shower. Maybe he can't shower off at school for one reason or another. Maybe at home he has water security issues, so there might not be the ability to take as much of a shower because some places it costs money to run water in, right? So if he sees this as a way of saving money on a shower, then that certainly could be something that he looks forward to. So I don't know what his motivations here are, but I think that OP probably needs to take some time and to dig into that and figure out exactly what's going on with this kid's situation.
Yeah, I mean, my guess from everything, it just sounds like he isn't getting the attention he wants, because the original motive of, digging up the lawn, that's clearly getting a reaction from OP. Mm-hmm. And now, OP is sitting and talking with him, so he may just be lonely or bored and, in need of someone to, pay attention to him.
Yeah, well, and that's what I mean, is, maybe his home life isn't great, and that OP is a rare glimpse of a almost good example of an adult. One that maybe not quite as abusive as what he might have to deal with at home. And I'm not saying that, then this is rampant speculation. I have no idea what this kid's situation is. He could be perfectly happy. He could be from a wealthy family and just like sticking it to people. I don't know. But I'm just curious because it does seem odd that he's choosing to shower off here as opposed to at home, right? So I don't know. I don't think that there are any jerks at the moment, but again, I really feel that OP has a responsibility at this point in time to kind of dig into things a little bit more just to make sure the kid is all right and all right with being hosed off. So otherwise, also, you don't want to be held liable for something that happens on your property, right? And so that right there is a good motive to not cause problems because, his parents could sue you, potentially. So there's that legal aspect that I think OP does need to consider. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Casparian says, I mean, it's not really solving the problem with your lawn if he's standing there digging his cleats around while you're doing it. Otherwise, it's just odd and relatively harmless. And OP's replied, I have come to accept him ruining the part that he's walking over. And Inky Paw says, Make a little kids spot. Is he the right age to get along with your kids? Maybe have them out chit-chatting and getting hosed down as well. And OP replies, he's my friend. My kids have enough of their own. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. Even though it's Saturday morning, it's really Friday evening for me, so I actually have some tea here. And Amber, she has a joke.
What fruit never ever wants to be alone?
What fruit never wants to be alone? Well, I can tell you, grapes never want to be alone for one. And grapes don't like being alone because they get very wrathful if they're alone. And then, that makes them very sour. And if you don't want sour, wrathful grapes, so just have them together as in a cluster. Otherwise, it's no good for anyone. No good for anyone.
A pear.
A pear? That's a lie. Pears grow individually on trees.
Doesn't mean they want to be alone.
Well, that's true. I mean, maybe they're, non-isolatory fruits. But grapes for sure. And I know a lot of grapes. They're all very good friends of mine. And I have Mega Mint tea. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, spectacular, special Saturday. I hope you're having a fabulous Saturday so far. Hopefully the weekend is treating you pretty okay. Maybe better than okay. Maybe amazing. Amber, we need some kind of moral guidance today, and please have it in the form of a recipe.
Recipe for getting kicked out. 1. Make demands of your partner. 2. Call your partner spoiled for not agreeing to your demands. 3. Double down and keep demanding that your partner house a person on their own dime, a person who has been rude to them.
And mix thoroughly, and then you get kicked out of your place of staying. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
There's no drinking. No drinking, please, from the audience.
I'm gonna drink all the water I want.
This is a no hydration zone. Alright, folks, our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for asking my girlfriend to give up her home office for a pregnant friend? As a pregnant friend. That would have been a different story. Alright, folks, our next letter is titled. Alright, folks, our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for giving... I read these titles perfectly when I'm not on camera. It's just the camera, the process of being recorded. So you know how, the particle wave duality in the double slit experiment? Mm-hmm. Where if you shine a light through a double slit, mm-hmm. you get the wave interference patterns.
Yeah, you get a diffraction pattern, right. Unless you're observing it, in which case you get a ballistic pattern. Yeah,
that's me. I'm the wave particle duality. If I'm being observed with the camera being recorded, suddenly I can't read anymore. But the moment the camera goes off, bam, I'm reading this stuff all day long, being like, no mistakes, Brian.